Damn the $7 million in small business resiliency funding that they did. Damn the rental assistance that they did. The council is so productive, we can't make the argument that we have to make them part-time because they work so hard. So how do we make the argument that, like, the council shouldn't exist? We make the argument by saying the things that they're working on are trivial, stupid, lack focus, and are wasting time.
I feel like the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. They're coming for your appointment power. So all the arguments from 2021 about strong mayors, like, don't worry, they have budget authority. Don't worry, they confirm mayoral appointments. They do oversight. Like, they gave us a strong mayor and they said, don't worry, you have all these other tools. And now they're taking the other tools.
We're rolling. We're rolling.
This is a real thing. Real thing.
None of you have the balls to stop this. Stop this.
I've got plenty of time. I have nothing else going on today.
We're in the Wedge neighborhood right now.
She had asked me to babysit her hamster, who is my nephew, Peter Parker, that her guy friend had gotten her.
Is that what people are doing these days? Giving people romantic interests hamsters?
Yeah. Apparently, that's what the kids are doing now. And she had, like, initially, like, snuck this into my parents' house because she got it over winter break as a Christmas gift. But then eventually my mom found out, and then she brought it to her apartment at the U. And for spring break, she wanted me to babysit the hamster, but then she ended up having her guy friend babysit it instead, which was a mistake because he lost the hamster.
Man.
And instead of trying to search for it, he bought her another hamster.
Oh my God.
That looked completely different.
Oh, this is raising animal cruelty concerns here for me.
And then she was like, put the food bowl just out in the middle of the apartment. And then Peter Parker showed up, and then she had 2 hamsters.
Wow. I mean, they say with like dogs, like, don't get someone a dog as a gift because you don't know if they want a dog. You don't know if they're capable of taking care of a dog. Does that rule apply to hamsters?
I mean, I think the rule applies to hamsters. The thing is, she has created a palace for this hamster. He's, like, really well taken care of. Like, he has all these ceramic mushrooms that he gets to live inside of. It's just maybe the rule is, like, don't hand off the hamster to, like, your 20-something guy friend who will just end up buying you another hamster if he loses it.
Is it a guy friend or a boyfriend? What's going on?
Not a boyfriend. She would
not a
say
boyfriend.
No.
But he's trying to be a boyfriend with all these hamsters. Does he work at a pet store? Why does he have access to hamsters?
I don't know.
This is the Wedge Live podcast. I'm your host, John Edwards. Joining me today is Minneapolis City Council member representing Ward 12, Aurin Chowdhury. Thank you for being here and telling us about your sister's hamsters.
Good to be here. Good to be back.
Are we going to have fun today? Are you far enough into your career as a council member that you're not going to give me boring, long political answers and you're going to be freewheeling and say things that are controversial that will go viral?
Let's have fun today. I'm going to be authentically myself. That's what I can always commit to.
Okay. Well, we are, I believe we're still in the midst of a Todd emergency. Right?
Oh, yeah. Big time. City
Council recently rejected the reappointment of Todd Barnett to Community Safety Commissioner. And the mayor has said there's absolutely no valid reason for the City Council to have rejected his nomination. It must be personal. It must be that you are playing political games. Like, he can't imagine what your problem is with Todd Barnett. Did you have a reaction to that?
I was like, you were sitting right there for the entire meeting, Mr. Mayor. You were right there for our entire meeting. I mean, I think it's really interesting that no denial of an appointment has ever been vetoed by any mayor in city history. So like, this is like yet again another unprecedented veto that has put us into a potential loop of never-ending vetoes. And I would say like a mini charter crisis. Like ultimately the council has to give consent. And so for me, I felt I was extremely clear. Like Todd Barnett, he is a wonderful human being, individual, great judge, very reputable. For me, really clear that like the role of a judge does not mean that you are directly qualified to be in charge of all of the departments of safety and pull them all together. I think you need to be a really hands-on individual, very boots on the ground, roll your sleeves up type, and you need to have a lot of like strong communication skills and follow-up skills. And like in a memo that our council president put out and I also contributed to, we laid out the reasons, the substantive reasons why, like poor management of contracts, lack of follow-through and communication with councils, budget issues. For me, like the day that I decided I was like, if he comes back up for appointment, like I don't think I'm going to be able to support him, was when this council had said we cannot do any more contracts with Jerry McAfee's organization after he had come into our chamber and hurled homophobic and threatening remarks at council members and then other threatening remarks on his Facebook Live. And we had said, please don't bring his contracts back to us. We weren't even taking up his contract in this conversation. And then those contracts were brought up to us. And it just felt like a lot of cognitive dissonance. Maybe that's like the more charitable way to say it, but also just like we're talking about council member safety and we're talking about a violence interruption contract from someone that threatened violence. Like there's a line there. So I think those are pretty substantive. I think the political gamesmanship, like narrative, I think, and also like you had posted about this and I gave like a strong reaction to it on Blue Sky, like invoking like the murder of George Floyd and the uprisings and saying like, this is like the same type of energy. It's roiled in this. That's just a way to make people polarized and go into their corners and feel really angry and create the council boogeyman, when it's just like, what we lose in that is like, no, council is doing our oversight. If we had someone that had shown us over the last 2 years, even when they made mistakes, that they were going to correct it and take our feedback seriously and be able to answer questions that I think the commissioner of the community safety, office should be able to answer, then that would be a different story, but we've landed here.
Yeah. And I keep forgetting the McAfee thing. The idea that there are no reasons, I'm forgetting all of the reasons. There are so many reasons I can't hold them all in my head. Whatever you think of Barnett, it's fine if Fry thinks we need Barnett to continue on. That's a fine opinion for him to have. But the idea that there is no alternate perspective here and everyone else is being ridiculous for remembering all the many reasons, including trying to give a contract to Jerry McAfee after he did a Facebook Live where he threatened the council and after he, threw a fit at that public hearing. Also, the mayor's origin story is that people came outside his apartment building in 2020. That's his hero origin story. Like people were very upset with him back then and he can't get over it. I don't think it's the case that the city council can't get over it. I think he sees everything now in that frame, and like all of his success since then has been based on punching at progressives, and he can't stop doing it.
Yeah. And I think like that was a moment like where there was an opportunity there for him to bring council and mayor together in a place where like, yep, there is clear disagreement, but like we went through the process and this was voted down. There were 2 other appointments that were not, and like we can move forward, and public safety is like the paramount issue, the issue for years and years and years. And like a choice could have been made that like I think would have brought people together, and it would have been uncomfortable, but we're not new to discomfort. But instead it was like going back. It felt like we went through like this entire ICE occupation And our city was like, felt like the ground underneath us was gonna like fall. And like the only thing that we had was each other to reach out to as neighbors and like leaders here. Like, I feel like we flash back to the time before that where it's like, go back into your corners. Everyone's angry at everyone. Punch at the council. Say the buzzwords that make people feel angry and like make them pick sides, when at the end of the day, it's like, not to sound corny, but it's just like, yeah, like everyone's on the side of like a good public safety system that works. Like no one's arguing against that. And like this council, me, in my vote, I'm saying, and the way that we do that is like, we need a different person to lead this really, really important office.
What is that street sign behind you?
I'm going to grab it for you. It's Lena Smith Boulevard.
Tell us who Lena Smith is.
Lena Smith is the first Black African-American woman attorney in the state of Minnesota. She is storied for her work in leading in the Minneapolis NAACP and starting the Urban League here in Minneapolis. And she also was an attorney that really fought hard against racial segregation and racial covenants that basically said huge parts of our city, if you were Black, Brown, Indigenous, Indian, Arab, Jewish, you can't live in these parts of the city because you have a covenant attached to your deed. And so she worked really hard in that whole scope of the civil rights movement, and especially in housing here on the south side. And we renamed Edmond Boulevard, who was the architect of racial covenants in Minneapolis, to Lena Smith Boulevard.
Well, isn't that poetic?
Yeah. It's great. I mean, she is a really badass woman that I think is oftentimes forgotten by history. And so now we have a huge stretch of our city named after her. And we actually tried to find family of hers that's around, and we were only able to find, I think, one niece that lives in California, and it's just kind of quiet. And so there aren't a lot of people that are around right now that are kind of speaking about her history and story. And so now we have this entire stretch of a city street that's going to be, and we're also planning, when I say we, the community that was behind reclaiming Edmond Boulevard, renaming to Lena Smith Boulevard, trying to get some of the street signs previously from Edmond Boulevard archived and then tell her story.
So you know what the pundits are saying about the city council right now?
What are they saying? There's a lot of them.
A lot of Star Tribune commentaries have been written about your lack of focus. You're just a bunch of silly people who are just constantly fighting and proposing the most ridiculous things. They're picking resolutions off a very long agenda and holding it up and saying, "See, look at this ridiculous thing that they're talking about at the city council." Do you lack focus? Does the body lack focus? What's going on the city council?
So, okay. The city council, this is what I will always say. The city council works on a bunch of stuff, like 60 to 70 items every single cycle. And we have several standing committees that take up that work. And we even had a super committee of the whole that I chaired. That would be 8 hours long worth of work that we had to do. One day it was like 12 and a half hours. We had to go over 2 days. I think like there is a little bit of like, all right, we came out of this first quarter of the year fighting the federal government. We faced an ICE occupation, and council members like myself were like, the best thing that we could do was use our bodies, be on the ground, and respond to community. And I think we're coming out of that era, and we need to get focused and like, what does this next season of the city council mean? But what the pundits are talking about by picking like resolutions around Cuba or drug paraphernalia or bathhouses, what they're doing is cherry picking these things to say, look at the city council, they don't know what they're doing. Damn the $7 million in small business resiliency funding that they did. Damn the rental assistance that they did. Damn the street resurfacing projects that they approved. All of these things. We're going to pick on these things because the council is so productive. We can't make the argument that we have to make them part-time because they work so hard. So how do we make the argument that, like, the council shouldn't exist? We make the argument by saying the things that they're working on are trivial, stupid, lack focus, and are wasting time. So that's what I believe is happening. I think it's a concerted effort to pick at the things that we're doing to create an argument to dissolve us as a body or make us part-time. I think there was that columnist, Rochelle Olson, who went as far to say, the Minneapolis project is over. Get rid of the city in its entirety. And I'm like, I read that and I was like, what a slap to the face of a city that literally is now up for a consideration for Nobel Peace Prize. Like, people are saying that about us. We're going to dissolve the city.
I don't know. The Cuba thing irritated me because these resolutions, they're not binding. We know the city council has no foreign policy authority. We know that. But during the occupation, other cities were sending resolutions of support to Minneapolis. Like, we see what you're going through. We stand with you. This is awful. Just a recognition. And like the idea that like the stepped up embargo of Cuba and depriving people of electricity. People need electricity to live. People die without electricity. And the city council recognizing that is fine. Not any time was wasted to simply write out a very short resolution, not in support of Fidel Castro or anything or whatever these right-wingers want to make it out to be. Just like the Cuban people deserve access to electricity maybe, and not to be killed for lack of it.
And let's normalize relationships with them.
Right.
First of all, those resolutions don't take a long time. And we have a long history as a city council predating the 21st century of doing these types of resolutions. But one thing that happened is that I took an hour out of my day. It might have been like the Friday after council or maybe like the following week to meet with the ambassador from Cuba and their secretary and show them around our city council and to talk about what's happening in our city. And they shared with us why they cared so much about building relationships with cities like the city of Minneapolis and what they had to offer. And they talked about like the Cuban Film Festival that was happening here. They talked about all of these medical innovations that they have, like curing lung cancer, addressing diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia by vaccine. And they were like, we want to build relationships with you because we want to be able to build relationships with the University of Minnesota. We want to be able to build relationships with the Mayo Clinic. We want to see like these innovations that we have here brought to the United States and form that type of relationship because that could change people's lives. And I mean, we are notable for the university that we have. We are notable for Mayo. And if we normalize relations, we could literally help so many people here in the city of Minneapolis and across our region to meet very, very important healthcare needs. And I think that's when this actually does become a local issue. Everyone wants to say, this is not a local issue. It can become very, very local very quickly and change people's lives materially. So that was really inspirational.
I'm concerned that the city council is backsliding a little bit. Some of the people that we have elected to the city council recently, just I'm speaking ideologically. Like this drug paraphernalia thing is something that's decriminalizing drug paraphernalia for public health reasons is something the state has already done, and we're just trying to match it on the city level. So people like Walter Hudson, very extreme conservative Republican, is in support of the decriminalization. Already did it on the state level. And Elizabeth Schaefer, for example, keeps conflating the idea that this is about legalizing drug use. It's just about paraphernalia. She keeps picking out this language from the ordinance and giving her interpretation that we're decriminalizing drug use. And she's kind of wrapping it up in this uptown situation where there's been open drug use and homelessness problems. These are the kind of things that previous city councils would not have turned into a controversy. It would have just passed without much concern. Mm-hmm. And yet they get turned into these culture wars by the Fry faction on the council. We're still waiting to find out if Fry will veto the drug paraphernalia decriminalization. People are saying he probably will. I feel like we're extremely polarized. Breaking news, we are extremely polarized on the city council.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think like the council members who voted against care over criminalization, the decriminalization of just people having drug paraphernalia like needles or pipes, those types of things. Like, I think they genuinely want to see MPD officers use their time to like go up to people that have those equipment and like spend time to either charge them or at least Metro Transit Police. Like, I think they want to use that tool as a way to try to get people off of the streets. And I think I am completely opposed to that because it's ineffective in reducing addiction. Research shows medical professionals, literal physicians in our state have said, when we criminalize drug paraphernalia, we make it harder for people to want to go into treatment. And also forced treatment, that has like a much lower efficacy rate than someone volunteering to go into treatment. And that's anyone that has like a relation to someone with an addiction or has experienced substance use disorder themselves. They know that one of the key steps is wanting to admit that you have a problem and to address it. Like, if you don't do that step, it becomes ever the more difficult to do so. And I think like there's definitely like I believe that there's a political game to this for sure. Right? Like, I think it comes back to like, okay, like there's a certain set of people, progressives on this council that hold a majority. I am not a part of that, and my job is to make them look dysfunctional. And also, like, we know that we have an issue with substance use disorders, open drug use in our city, all of these things that are happening. And I haven't done the work. All the council members who voted against it haven't done the work to come up with tangible solutions. But this is an opportunity for me to blame them for this problem instead. It's not my fault. It's their fault. The needles are on the ground because they brought this ordinance forward. They wrote the language, and that's why we have 500 needles on the ground. I
think you're selling Elizabeth Schaefer short because I'm assuming you're talking about her. She came up with this Uptown Safety Ambassador thing in like a month. She got it done. From inception of the idea to funding and implementation, it took Elizabeth Schaefer just a month to get this done. And I applaud her for that.
That's like, I was like, wow, like, that's the definition of stolen valor.
Yes.
And
for any listeners who don't know what we're joking about here is Aisha Chowdhury back in 2023 funded a program, went unimplemented for years, and the Fry administration apparently said, sorry, no money, we're not doing it. And then a month later, Elizabeth Schaefer is being congratulated at a press conference for getting this program done.
I really want to give a huge thank you, though, here to Council Member Elizabeth Schaefer. The minute that she came in, she had this laser-like focus on Uptown.
Thank you, Mayor, for those kind words. As we all know, this kind of work takes team. We are super excited that the community safety ambassadors are coming. The community has been asking, and now the city is delivering.
And Aisha Chowdhury not invited to this press conference.
Yeah,
which
and I would love
hilarious
to speak on the fact that Aisha Chowdhury and Katie Cashman went up to the mat for Uptown ambassadors repeatedly. They went up to the mat for that program. They constantly stayed on that question. They got it across through the council when no one believed that this was like a good idea. They also did that for crime prevention specialist program. in their precinct as well. And like, that was a lot of hard work. And I even made an announcement at the city council meeting on Thursday to say, yeah, Aisha, you get to have your flowers on this. I know that you weren't invited to this press conference, but you're the one that did this work. You made it happen. Even when no one believed that this was a helpful tool for Uptown, you did. You did right by representing the majority of Uptown and bringing it. And like, I mean, Elizabeth Schaefer, I hope she gives Aisha Chowdhury her flowers, because she gets to pat herself off on the back for the work of her counterpart in Uptown. Like, she gets to ride on the coattails of Aisha Chowdhury for this work.
I feel here's another thing related to this. I feel like I'm the only person screaming my head off about the power grab that is happening on multiple fronts. We have the Charter Commission trying to take away the city council's confirmation power for some mayoral appointees. We have this budget issue related to the Uptown Safety Ambassador thing, where the council funds things and the mayor is just like treating it as if it's a menu of options for him to choose from, and not like a binding thing where if the council funds a program, create the program. And then street layouts. The mayor is taking control away from the council over the approval of street layouts. Something the council has always had to approve is when streets are reconstructed, like how many lanes are there going to be? Is there going to be a bike lane? Is there going to be pedestrian safety features? These are the things that have come through the council. And I asked you about it recently, and you told me you hadn't heard anything about it. I'm pretty sure this is happening. There are council members who are not aware of it, haven't been told or updated about it. I'm hearing from the executive branch that it is happening, and you don't know it's happening.
I haven't gotten anything about it.
So all these things are happening. I feel like it's a concerted effort to marginalize the legislative branch in the city of Minneapolis, which I think is really short-sighted, and we're going to regret it if we let it happen.
I mean, I just want to take a step back and like look at what is a council? What is a council member? And why does that matter to everyday people listening, or just in general? Your council member is the one neighbor out of 34,000 neighbors or even more that gets to represent your voice. They're the loud neighbor. They're the squeaky wheel. They are the delegated voice for you. That's representative government. Their job is to do constituent services. Their job is to go up to the mat for you for different programs, legislation, budget, and then they get to vote and make decisions on your behalf. And a lot of us as council members do a lot of work to communicate with our constituents and hear from you so we can make our decisions. Like, I would say a good council member doesn't just make a decision on their own. Like, they consider all of the information that they've gotten when they were campaigning or when they're hosting community meetings about a topic. So like, when you cut council members out of the process of like street layouts, when you do not implement budget items that council members are bringing forward, when you keep them out of conversations that impact everyday people, you are taking out that representative tool, that person that the people elected. Like, it's an issue of democracy. It really is, to really go there. And this is not a time where a blue city at the local government level should be eroding democracy. Like, we should not be doing that to ourselves. That's like Trump and Congress, they're already doing that. Like, we have to make sure that we live up to it and protect local democracy. And like, it sounds alarmist, but it is that serious. It really is that serious. And like, I will look into this street layout, like strong mayor, legislative council conversation. And I'll just say right now, like, I oppose that. I oppose taking away council authority and approving street layouts, because oftentimes it comes to us and you need to have the intervention to bring up constituent issues and voices when you're hearing from like a neighborhood association or a grassroots group of neighbors saying, hey, like, the way that this like bike lane is set up and looks or is like in the way of like a pedestrian walkway, or even the lack thereof of including other type of active transportation, like this is really going to harm us. Or even like the local business angle, like it might be a street layout that like makes it harder for local businesses. Who are they going to go to? Administrative staff member is not public facing, and they are not accountable to those people, to those businesses, to constituencies at the ballot box in the way that we are. Like that's our whole job.
And we should also say, like 99, like confirmations of a mayoral appointments, 99% of the time, there's no controversy. There's no fight happening about it. It is like, we're checking with you. We're telling you what's happening. And it's an opportunity. It's a public process. Instead of having these things just happen in the mayor's office where no one can see who is deciding or why, let's have a public process. And sometimes it's messy, and sometimes things happen out in public in these meetings that make people want to ridicule the council. Like, look at these people doing these things in public on camera. Well, we don't have a camera into the mayor's office to see how they're making decisions. There's at least a value in the transparency and having people make decisions in public. And
it's hard to make decisions in public too. Like that's like also a thing that I think that needs to be factored in, is like none of us are having these conversations with each other, like all 13 of us behind closed doors. It might make it, if we actually had that opportunity, we might be able to work out some of the bullshit that ends up happening. But
that's
we don't
illegal.
have that.
That would be illegal to do.
Exactly. It's open meeting law that our state legislature put on us. But guess what? They don't have open meeting law. I'll just put that there. Little shade. All the shade, but all the love. One thing about the charter amendment, because I vehemently oppose taking away council authority for appointments and approvals. I think it's like a necessary check and balance. And especially when you have a returning mayor and returning department heads, now we have a whole body of work that we get to review and assess. Like in a lot of ways, we act as like a board of directors and making decisions for the organization. And we have like this higher level role, this check on like the executive to say, these are the people that you get to assign and put in charge and deliver. And our constituencies, like, did they serve them? Did they not? And like, that's the place where we get to make the decisions. And sometimes it is as simple as like, we're going to vote yes, or we're going to vote no, or it's gotten to a point where it's like, no coming back. We got to vote no. But also it is the process in which we ask questions and have conversations and bring up issues and like create opportunity for feedback so things can get better for the future. It is like a necessary touch point. So it's like, if I have a department head that I'm probably going to vote for, this is actually my opportunity for me to basically interview them for the job, do like a comprehensive review and be like, hey, these XYZ things did not work out well. I need you to commit to improving them for the people that I represent. And if you take that away, that's what's happening. And I also don't get the Charter Commission's arguments for this at all. I don't get it. One of them is like, oh, it's too controversial, like scary city council. No one's going to want to apply for these jobs. All of the only ones that have been like really high profile are the ones that they're keeping anyway right. in the charter, which is the Office of Community Safety. They're proposing to keep that. COO, Chief of Police, Fire. Now they're talking about CPED and Public Works. Like the rest of the other ones, there's usually not a lot of controversy or issue. And then, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think like people should be ready for the fact that these things are going to go on the ballot. And like the people who are supportive of peeling away council power are going to have the money, the time, the validators, and we'll have a well-oiled campaign. And we, the people, need to make sure that we are doing our part to inform our neighbors of what a yes vote and a no vote means on this charter amendment.
So if the mayor is doing things, his administration is doing things that you think are bad or against the city charter or wouldn't stand up to scrutiny? Like, how does the city council push back? Like, we have been informed that there is only one lawyer for the city, and it's the city attorney who answers to the mayor. Like, what is the avenue for you if you don't like the street layout thing, if the mayor isn't implementing your budget amendments, if how do you push back? What do you do? Is there a plan? Are you going to do anything?
We have to do something. I am a council member that's in my 3rd year, and I think I'm in a place where it's like, you see, we've tried different things and we see that what kind of works. I will say, like, I think we're kind of experimenting and seeing what works. Like, one thing that I think is always key in these discussions is bringing it into public view, because it is, when you put it into public light that a budget amendment is not being implemented, like, that is ridiculous. That is something that is concerning, and our constituents deserve to know that, and like, that gives us the ability to push back on it. We're having conversations with the city attorney's office in terms of like, what does service to the city council mean when you're also giving service to the mayor's office. We're actually going to be getting a presentation that examines having like a independent city attorney for city councils. I'll tell you what it says. It basically lands on like, you can't have one and here's why. But it's going to be fascinating. I mean, one way for us to push back is doing legislative directives and asking tough questions and then trying to negotiate. I think that is something that we have to keep on trying to do. But I will say, like, as a council member coming into the 3rd year, it's still something that I'm figuring out. It feels like a complicated Rubik's Cube. We aren't close to completely solving it, but we aren't, like, at the beginning of it.
I feel like the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. They're coming for your appointment power. So all the arguments from 2021 about strong mayors, like, don't worry, they have budget authority. Don't worry, they confirm mayoral appointments. They do oversight. The walls are closing in.
I don't feel like that. Like,
they gave us a strong mayor and they said, don't worry, you have all these other tools. And now they're taking the other tools.
The thing is, they haven't taken it away yet. And I have faith in our community when it comes to us organizing and the ballot box. I mean, like, we still have like a strong progressive contingency on this council. Council members that might not even consider themselves progressive, Councilmember Osmond, Councilmember Whiting, like, they're people that are willing to work with all council members, and I think that's a good thing. Ward 12 sent me back resoundingly, and Mayor Fry back, and I think that like there's like an interesting thing that exists there. I just have a lot of faith that we will be able to figure this out. I do think, like, as a city council, we do need to find our compass and like figure out what this term means, and I think what I was looking forward to was like the opportunity of defining what this term would mean once we started it. And it started with this ICE occupation. And in a way, it did define what this term meant. It made it all the more clear why we show up to work and do this job. It made it all the more clear why it's important to have people in power that are going to check power and are going to be ardent about it. It made it all the more clear why you need to have people that are going to look towards like the everyday neighbor, the school teacher, the patroller, the immigrant community member. Because if those people didn't provide the service that they did for a city, like, would have never been able to just fight against the surge and have it come down from its height.
What was your percentage in the last election? What percentage did you get? Was it in the 60s?
It was in the 60s. I honestly don't even remember what my percentage was.
What did Mayor Fry get? Was it like a plurality? Did he have less than a majority in Ward 12, but like a plurality? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
Okay. I was just curious.
I was like, election day is over. It's done. I need to take a second. It's not healthy to think about an election for so long.
Well, we definitely won't be talking about the Ward 12 City Council election of 2025. We're not doing that.
We never have, you and I.
It's true. I was taking a campaign finance course over this election. I had to buy Amazon pants because of
Dude,
that.
I can't
Ward
believe
12
you had to
election.
buy Amazon pants. You should have just gone to B resale, man.
I'm a large individual. I have an unusual body shape.
That's true.
And
but I
so
feel like they could find stuff for you.
You think so?
But yeah, I mean, if you gave them advance notice, I bet they could figure it out. They're like really good over there. Right. But I mean, I got doxxed more times than I liked. And then I got my election called into question.
Oh, really?
My opponent was like, "We need to audit her election." I was like,
"Oh, really?
Girl, you're making the post from the Victory Memorial neighborhood."
Are we checking your birth certificate, or did it go that far?
No.
Okay.
But I actually no.
We need Aurin Chowdhury birthers. That's what we need. No, we don't need that.
No, we don't. Please don't start this.
Okay. So, police training facility. I've been following the conversation. Tell me, so there are some council members who are like, this is a nice thing to have. I am perfectly supportive of the concept of a police and public safety training facility, but it is not a priority right now. It is too expensive. We can't afford it. Like, do you think this would be great if we could afford it and we can't afford it? Or do you think this is just a plain bad idea?
I'm like, I hear about it and I'm like, my immediate reaction is just like, how does this meet our current moment?
Right.
How? It doesn't. Nobody's asking for this like that. Like, nobody is. What people are asking for is like better public infrastructure that they can use, like improve the streets, improve the sidewalk accessibilities, make nice things like Bryant Avenue. I want to see more of that. Like, I want to see traffic calming. I don't want like kids to get hit by cars. I want it to be safer to bike. Like, that's what I'm hearing for like our bonding dollar asks. There's this little bridge project that needs to get done. There's this water main issue. Like, that's what I hear. And then in terms of, Cop City, I think the thing that really frustrates me is we voted this down in our budget last year. And then all of a sudden, there's this surprise, it's March, it's after the ICE occupation. We want you to open back up the budget book and say $40 million. When we had already taken a decisive vote, and I had also felt like the presentations and the meetings we were getting pulled into were like, there was always something new that was going to happen. Like, all of a sudden, the training facility is now going to be open to all of these other jurisdictions. I was like, that's brand new. We didn't know that 2 days ago. At the end of the day, it's the city's credit card that is paid off by the taxpayers. And I don't really see how this meets the moment of the need for what we actually need to put on the city's credit card. I think that we should evaluate other ways to improve training and training spaces. Like, if we do not want to have the shooting range in the 4th precinct area over there, like, is there another place where that can go if that's a really big issue? I also think it's always like public safety, we need to improve it. And like, it's not going well because we don't have this training center, or it's not going well because we don't have mounted police. It's not going well because we don't have the X thing that we want. When I really do think the thing that we do need to focus on is training, recruitment, and retention. And that's what the city should just focus on. Like actually doing the trainings itself and not focusing on a $40 million building project that we don't even know is going to get done until like 2032. And even then it could get pushed down several years. And let me just say this. I feel like my 12th ward constituents across the board will agree. We don't even have the Southside Community Safety Center. We don't even have a definitive open date. Before I was elected, we were talking about this, and it's still not there. And now we're going to talk about a new facility to put on the docket, and we're going to acquire the land for $6 million, and then we're going to put in capital dollars every year. But then we also need to worry about getting half of that money from the state legislature that isn't guaranteed to us. For me, I feel like I'm getting spun around.
Do you feel like you have municipal building project fatigue? We've got
Yes.
the battle over the old 3rd Precinct site, the Community Safety Center, the George Floyd Square thing, the urban farm debate, endless municipal real estate battles that we
have. It's a weakness. It's a weakness of this city and how we do these projects. Absolutely.
You know, the part of the debate I'm most concerned with was Lene Palmisano was very unhappy that it got labeled Cop City.
And importantly, some of the arguments I've heard against this investment are downright disingenuous. One, this isn't a cop city. This training facility is part of our comprehensive, coordinated public safety ecosystem.
And I'm thinking that's not a technical term. Like, you cannot dispute the nickname someone has given to your project. Like, that it is our right to give it whatever nickname we choose. Right? There's no dictionary definition or Wikipedia article for what constitutes a cop city.
First of all, just because a bunch of activists and council members call it Cop City doesn't make it Cop City. It's just a term, right? I like Hero Center. This is not a Cop City. At best, this is a cop corner store compared to Cop City.
I thought Pearl Warren, kudos to her for being the realist one up there and just being like, it is.
I hope it is a cop city. I hope it's a cop university.
Cop university.
Cop university. I was like, you know what? I appreciate you for standing on your business and being real about the situation.
So you're on the Cop City side. We can call it a Cop City.
I mean, that's what the people are calling it. So, like, that is. I think
you're a leader. If you said no, I call it Cop something else. Cop.
I call it both. I'm like training facilities / Cop City. I'll just interchange it because I think they're interchangeable. Okay. Genuinely, they're interchangeable.
I just want to send my condolences to Lene Palmisano for everyone calling her project Cop City. That has to feel bad. Do you want to talk about data centers? This is a burgeoning culture war in Minneapolis. We're going to fight over data centers. You have proposed, you're at the beginning stages of considering a data center moratorium. This is a topic of conversation across the country. I believe Egan has implemented one.
In Rosemount.
Okay, so a couple of places. I know the one in Egan, I think, is limited to, so if it's over 20 megawatts, I have no idea what that means or what size of data center that would be, but I assume that's a very large one. Like, is that the kind of thing you're contemplating, that like a traditional, like corporate data center that is just like, you know, the normal like server room style data center would continue and we would just target the big ones?
So we have existing data centers in the city of Minneapolis, right? And they're a smaller scale. And like compare the existing ones that we have, and then there's like the Sleep Number One. The Sleep Number One is significantly bigger. You're going to see on the city council, we're actually going to probably be talking about this we'll be talking about wattage, but we're going to be talking about square footage, because that's a conversation that I'm having in terms of like the language that's going to be proposed. But let me take a step back here. So no one on the city council, not one of the 13 of us, and including the mayor, none of us are experts on data centers. None of us are experts on data centers. None of our staff are experts on data centers. Even our own department level staff have to do significant amount of research, right? I have had preliminary conversations with them where there were questions that they did not have answers to, and rightfully so. Like, they did not sign up to be a data center expert. But what we do know is that cities, in response to this growth of data centers across the country, are realizing that like this is a forefront issue for land use and zoning. That is just what's happening. Like, this is going to shape the way that our city is built for the future. And I believe that it's important that if this is going to be something that grows in our city, which it will, right? Like, if we didn't do a moratorium, or even through the discussions, like there are existing data centers that happen, there are conversations around expansions. Like, if we're going to have a conversation about data centers, like, we need to talk about responsible growth. And that means making sure that we actually have taken the time as a city for our expert level staff to do research, to consider how zoning and planning for data centers could be or could not be, what kind of restrictions we want to put forward comprehensively before we allow them to just proliferate unchecked. And I think there's real questions about water consumption, energy use, national security, taking plots of land that could be productive uses of land where there's businesses, housing, parks, pickleball courts, whatever you want.
You're going to make this about pickleball? Are you going to make this about pickleball?
Absolutely, because we love pickleball. If you're going to take that vacant land and you're going to turn it into a data center, that changes a neighborhood. And it's not all just about downtown having data centers either. Like, you think about all of the industrially zoned areas in our city. Like, there's lots of places where I could see considerations for a data center to be there. And we deserve to have a conversation about this as a community before that happens, to set the rules of how our city should be built. And for me, I am deeply skeptical about data centers and the impact on our communities. And I think we should take our time on it. And I think a pause is actually a pretty reasonable thing. I believe Denver, Colorado also recently is taking up a consideration on a pause. And under state statute, we can have a pause up to a year. After that, we have to make a decision on what is allowable uses. And the key word is also up to. We might not even take up an entire year. So I think the city council and the mayor and us as a city should be responsible and think about responsible growth and actually have a comprehensive planning and zoning idea for how we go about these.
And that is key, defining the word moratorium. It's not a ban. It is a pause so we can understand what this exploding industry means. So Elizabeth Schaefer, she is taking up the cause of data centers. She does not want to have this conversation. I mean, it's a real issue. Downtown property values have plummeted. Property tax income to the city is cratering as a result from what used to be the big base of where the city got a huge chunk of property tax revenue downtown. So there is a potential trade-off, and she's concerned that you scare off these companies that could come in and prop up the property values because suddenly these empty office buildings will have a use. How do you respond to that concern? This is a tax revenue issue.
I mean, my question when I hear all of these downtown stakeholders talking about gotta strike when the iron's hot, fill up these vacant buildings, you're going to get so much in tax revenue is all right, who benefits? And then at what costs? What are the unintended consequences? What does it mean for downtown residents? Oh, also, this isn't a downtown only issue. What does this mean for everyone? What are the different types of data centers? That type of thing. And I mean, I think there should be a healthy skepticism around this use is what I'd say to her. And I'd say, okay, if you are really wanting to be a huge advocate for this, then let's actually allow for the debate. Let's actually take the time for the debate. If you don't support the moratorium, okay, make your case for it. I'm going to make my case for it. I think trying to kill it before we even had language introduced is pretty disappointing and bad faith. I think it just like closes the opportunity to have these conversations about what are the unintended consequences. And I'll also say this to you. This is some tea. The downtown council is like offering up tours to the Sleep Number data center to every single council member right now. Like,
really?
Council members are just taking it up left and right. I mean, I'm going to take it. I'm curious. I want to know what they're saying about this. But that is like, they're heavily lobbying council members right now, about it. And then the last thing about this is going to grind business to a halt. No, it's not. This is Minnesota. We are cool. We are like literally cold for 7 months out of the year, which means it's probably better to have data centers in the Midwest where you don't have to spend all of this extra money and effort to use like cold water to cool down systems if the city's already cool to begin with. Like, that is never not going to be an attractive thing for here. But our job is to regulate and safeguard our constituents and think about the public interest. Yes, tax revenue is a part of that public interest, but there are a whole lot of other things that we need to consider. And again, she's not an expert. I'm not an expert. There's research that needs to be done, and you can't do it within 2 cycles of a council meeting. And that's why, before something proliferates, let's take a pause and allow for the work to happen.
You know what I'm thinking? Data centers in under the water in Lake of the Isles. That's what I'm thinking. The water is cold most of the year, and data centers under the water. What do you think?
Yeah, it could be like the city of Atlantis, and there could be like a Waymo, like vehicles under there too, to like drive AI robots around. Like, you could have a whole underwater Lake of the Isles community.
So one of the interesting parts of the debate is like, once it is officially introduced, even if it's not passed, apparently it takes effect. Do I have that correct?
Mm-hmm. If we vote to introduce it.
So will there be sufficient detail at that point where it won't just be a blanket moratorium? Like, will you know the shape of it enough at that point when you introduce it to like know what this moratorium would cover? Or would it just be a blanket, we're not doing any kind of data centers?
I will say I'm strongly considering bringing forward a blanket moratorium, and I think council members that might not want a blanket moratorium, like, I'm open to the debate about what considerations that we should make, but I don't want to start at a position where I'm like, let's carve out this and that and this and that. Like, let's have the data center conversation because we need to have it as a city. Yeah, ultimately, like, we're going to make a decision as a body, and the pause can be, the moratorium could be in effect as long as a year, as long as 2 weeks if we don't end up voting for it. I don't know. Like, we'll see.
Oh my God, we're at 58 minutes. What did you want to say?
Okay, so this is like a pitch to the Wedge Live listeners. Okay. If you are an expert on data centers, or you have some like special knowledge, or you have connections to someone that could be a good resource to the Ward 12 office, can you please reach out to us and connect us with the contacts that you have or any of the information that you have, and just reach out to Ward 12 12 at minneapolismn.gov.
You know what Aurin Chowdhury is saying about you, listeners, that you're a bunch of weird nerds.
Bunch of
dweebs.
Bunch of nerdy smarty pants.
Do you have any recommendations for us? What are you enjoying lately? What do you do after a long day of being ridiculous and unfocused at City Hall?
I think everyone should go on long walks and bike rides. Touch grass is always my biggest advice to everyone. Touch grass. Listen to live music. Get a hamster for the person, or 2 if you're trying to court someone. You can get them a hamster. It might work out well for you. At least you'll be around in their life if they like need you to take care of it when they're on vacation.
I mean, it's real disappointing for this guy to have gotten her 2 hamsters and they're not even involved in any way.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. Oh, for Ward 12. Okay, my 2 pitches for Ward 12. Sea Salt Eatery is open. So, like, come to Sea Salt, have a date at Minnehaha Falls Park so I can do my people watching thing. And then I have really been loving Okome House. It's just like, it's like off of 46th and 42nd. If you just go down 42nd, I believe. Please forgive me if I didn't get that right. I'm a little directionally challenged. But it's like a cute Japanese restaurant in the neighborhood. Like it's literally all around residential buildings, and it's just nice. And it's a coffee shop during the day. Yeah, if we had gone on a walk, I would have taken you over there. That was my plan.
We had planned to do this outside. Aurin Chowdhury is allergic to the cold. Can't withstand temperatures under 50 degrees.
And yes, and you said you're a little dubious about walking, and so
yeah,
we had a little bit of agreement today.
We have very different body styles, and it might be the camera angle. I don't know if I could get the camera angle.
We do need to try it. I thought about it. We do need to try it at some point. Okay. I think it'd be pretty funny.
Have you been biking a ton? No? I know you got a bike a couple of years ago. You haven't been keeping up with it?
So the back tire of my bike was like broken off and stolen.
Broken off? Was it locked up outside? No. Oh, and from the garage?
Yeah.
And they just took the back tire.
Yeah, because the front tire was locked with my U-lock.
Oh.
So it's in the repair. It's gonna get repaired. I have a bike to school event on May 6th, and I'm hoping that I'm back on the bike and like kicking off for the bike season then.
And one last thing, there appears to be a public works disaster happening on that poster behind you. Is that like a public works themed horror movie? What is that poster? People with helmets?
It's the Public Works, National Public Works Week poster. It says, ready and resilient. And in this one, they're like doing city planning. So there are two like National Public Works posters.
One on the right looks like maybe a horror movie, but it's all out of focus. I can't really tell what's happening. Looks like maybe they're fighting Godzilla.
No, behind them they have like I think it's their shadows, but the shadows look like superhero versions of them because public works staff are superheroes.
Is there anything else to say?
Oh, stay tuned. We're going to try to figure out the conduct of the city council so we can actually work together for the next year because I'm over it.
What are you going to do?
I, as a member of this body, I've requested like training for us as a city council. I'm also looking into, different groups that work with city councils to try to make sure that like there's basic civility and respect. I'm asking our president and our legislative department for trainings for chairs and council members so they're ready to do their meeting. Because I think we should debate the issue, but not attack people's character. Yeah, I'm pretty over it after being cussed at by Michael Rainville.
Excuse me, when are we gonna break for lunch? What the fuck? This fucking joke.
It'll be after the Community Safety Center.
Being cut off by Latricia Vita, and her coming up to me in the middle of a meeting. Like, I think it's inappropriate, and I don't want to come to work like this for the next 4 years, and I believe that we can do better because at the end of the day, I don't think people, no matter where people sit politically, they don't want to see their council members having a fight about something that doesn't really matter. It doesn't pertain to the business of the city.
And I think people assume like younger people are out of control and older people have their shit together and are always well behaved. I'm not trying to blame one side or the other on the council, but like people assume if there are problems on the council or the interpersonal relationships, it must be the younger people. It can't be anyone over 40. They would never behave inappropriately. Mm-hmm. It's like...
No, it's very ageist. And it's also like there are things that are said that are like super misogynistic too. It's like whining, complaining. It's like you're talking about a young woman who is just making a case for the thing that her constituents believe in. And you're saying it's whining and complaining. We're not doing that for the next 4 years.
Was the thing with Rainville that he was upset about the bathroom break? Is there a backstory to that?
Yeah, I would love to tell the backstory about this. So, Super Cow, 8-hour-long meetings. I had several council members tell me that they have different needs that require them getting a little bit of time off. I was like, absolutely. We need to make sure that you're good. So I had decided that I would give people a 10-minute bio break to go to the bathroom, to have a snack. That's what I did. For whatever reason, he thought it was a call for lunch or something that was going to impede on lunch. And then he decided to say, what the fuck, and call me a fucking child into the mic. And then the funny thing is, and the ironic thing is, the day that we had the Todd Barnett vote, we had to take a second vote after a bathroom break. He tried to rush the vote while I wasn't in the room because I was taking a bathroom break.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't
He was like,
notice
she's not here. Your job is to be here. Let's take the vote. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not chairing the meeting. I get a little extra second to go to the bathroom today. So it's just these types of things. It's we can't keep on getting to this precipice and this edge where it's just basic dignity, civility for one another goes out the window. Because guess what? At the end of the day, it's a workplace. I have a job to do. I'm trying to come in, do my job, go home. My best days on the city council are the days when I'm spending it in my ward with my neighbors. And when I'm in here, I want to focus on what's on the agenda and get it done, debate my point, and take our votes.
Okay, well, I wish you luck with restoring honor and integrity to City Hall. I'm a little skeptical that it can work.
I'm not thinking honor and integrity, that's a way too high bar. Okay. I'm saying civility and dignity. The basic, come into a meeting, do your job, don't cuss at each other, don't stand up and start a fight. Let's have our meeting.
Okay, I wish you luck with your very low bar for City Hall. All your future endeavors.
Thank you. I'll take it. We're going to make it better for the next 4 years. We're going to try.
Thank you to my guest, Aurin Chowdhury, who is the council member in Ward 12 here in Minneapolis. It was a pleasure, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
This has been the Wedge Life Podcast. I'm your host, John Edwards. Thank you for listening.
This is a real thing. Real thing.
None of you have the balls to stop this. Stop this.
I've got plenty of time. I have nothing else going on today.
We're in the Wedge neighborhood right now.